All right, Sophie King Cool here with Kissing Candice. How you doing, man?
How's it going, man? Hanging out, hanging out. Just actually enjoying my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, man!
Thank you very much. A lady never states how old she is, but I am I'm getting up there.
You got any big plans for today?
Really just kind of hanging out, gonna get some food. I got a new puppy. His name is Zool. It's how do you say this name, hon? It's a Sholo dog, which is hairless, Mexican hairless dog.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So
He's
I'm
real.
kind of hanging out with this. I just got it yesterday, so hanging out with this little girl here, and yeah, figured what better time to hang out and do an interview than today, you know?
Perfect, man. Perfect. Let's get right into it, man. That new mask of yours is amazing. How'd you hook up with Tom?
So, I mean, growing up, I'm an '80s kid, so I grew up knowing who Tom Savini was and just loving his work, all his practical effects, all his movies, Creep Show, Night of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th. Dust Till Dawn, all those classic movies. So Tom Savini has always been just a person that I always just admired in the horror world. And after our last mask cycle, I knew that I wanted to branch out and get a really good mask maker. And when I saw that he was resurfaced again and he did Corey Taylor's mask, I reached out to his partner, who is Jason Baker. He did WWE The Fiend. He did his mask. So
Yeah, man.
I reached out and I was like, hey, dude, love your work. Love Tom's work. Would you guys be interested in working with me on my new mask? This is my band. Check it out. And before I know it, I got a message back from Jason, and he's like, absolutely. So about a week or so, I was on a small tour at the time, and we were playing Ohio, and he's from Pittsburgh, so he actually took a drive out, Jason, and watched us play live. And after the show, he's like, "Let me talk to Tom and see what we got going on. I love your style. I really want to hear your visions for your new mask." And yeah, I got a phone call from him a couple days later and said Tom was on board. So we started throwing around ideas of which direction I wanted to go with the new Donna. He kind of already knew that I wanted to stay that like weird psycho erotica kind of Marilyn Manson meets Buffalo Bill kind of feel to it. So he pulled a lot of inspiration, and we were going back and forth for a while. And I live here in New York, but I live half the year in Vegas. So we were leaving New York and we were driving back to Vegas. And he's like, "Why don't you stop by Tom's house and we could all meet? You guys can have a proper introduction. We can really start sinking our teeth into these ideas." So, one thing led to another. And here I am in Tom Savini's house, hanging out, going over all these cool ideas, these cool concepts. And then a couple months later, I actually flew from Vegas back to Pittsburgh. I didn't know what the mask looked like. I pretty much gave him a bunch of my ideas and said, surprise me. So about 2, 3 months later, I flew out. I flew back to Pittsburgh, went to Tom's house with Jason, and they unveiled the mask for me, tried it on. We got to make a couple little alterations for the ear holes. And yeah, so this is the first pull of it, and I actually have another pull of this mask with a different paint job that I haven't revealed yet to the public. I'll probably reveal it in a couple of months or so, but this is what I came out with, and I couldn't be more happier. It's just the next step in the Aunt Donna, evolution of this mask and this character, and it's a shame that I haven't been able to use it live, but I used it in the new music video for our single Tapeworm, and it just felt so natural. Like this mask it's the next step. It's where I need to be with this character.
So did Tom have a bunch of cool shit in his house when he went there, man?
Oh, dude. So Tom is like he's like a little kid. Like you go in his house and he just starts talking to you. So he took me on a tour of his workshop, all his mask rooms, all the way up and down, all 3 levels of his house, and every level was cool. And as it wasn't just like he was showing me the stuff, like we were talking, like we were engaging about different props that he had, and all these different cool little just so much cool shit. He knew I was a big Dust Till Dawn fan, so him and Jason dug out the dick gun that he had in it, and he
Right.
actually was like showing it to me, and he let me hold it, and he was explaining how they got it to work in the movie, and how it was originally supposed to be used in Desperado years back with Antonio Banderas, but they couldn't get it to work. And then it was used in Dusk, and they got it to work on him. So it was just really cool, just seeing all these horror movie props and all these little things that we were talking about, and just really being in the same room with him, and it's great. And any problems, I can call up Jason or I can shoot Tom a text, and it's like they're right there, and they want to see it live, but right now music is on a pause, so it kind of sucks.
So you mentioned you had another one, like a backup or a different design or whatnot.
It's a different with the actual mask. I like to have different variations. Like the last variation of Aunt Donna, I did a couple of different pulls with different makeup schemes and things like that. So right out the gate, I had him make me two. So it's the same mold, the same face, except the paint job's a little different, the hair is a little different. So it's like my mid. Usually I switch, kind of start switching up masks, like different paint jobs. Like once I've kind of gone through the first cycle of like the album, and we've done a couple of tours or a couple of shows, then I start switching back and forth. So I'm not really ready to reveal that just yet, but that's definitely a loaded gun ready to fire.
No, the only reason I'm asking, because I figured, man, like those masks got to get fucked up after wearing them for a little bit. So I assume there's got to be.
I mean, silicone masks can take a beating. Don't get me wrong. Like it's this mask actually fits my face perfect, and this isn't even a sculpt of my face. For my last mask that I had, for the safe word cycle, we actually did a life cast of my face, and then the dude Connor, who made my mask, he does a lot of stuff for Trick or Treat Studios. He sculpted off of that. I didn't want to go off of a life cast again. I kind of wanted to start from scratch and have Tom and Jason just use their vision. And I gave them a couple little things that I really wanted. Like I wanted the logo cut into the mouth, but I kind of just said like make it Marilyn Manson. I think I threw in like David Bowie, Freddie Mercury. Like I was like, when you guys are making this character, think of these people as inspirations. I just don't want you to think of like horror movie shit or just like another Halloween mask. I'm like, this Aunt Donna is a real character, so make this come to life. So everything worked. The costume. This company called Dark Stitches, they did my custom corset. They did another corset that again I haven't revealed yet with this mask, but everything just kind of came together. So yeah, but getting back to the silicone, they take a beating, but they break in, and it's kind of like it becomes a part of you. Like after shows, the mask starts to smell, and it starts to like get gross on the inside. But you put that on, and it's showtime. You know what I'm saying? Like you get in that mindset. But again, I like to just keep things interesting, so I'll switch it up with the makeup scheme. I'll break out the other corset. I have another like fur coat, so I like to switch it up. Keep the evolution of Aunt Donna always progressing.
Now, how did you come up with the concept for Aunt Donna?
Oh my God! So the actual mask, the first during the which was our EP that we put out. The original Aunt Donna mask wasn't it didn't have no makeup on it. It was still like I was still building this character. I didn't have a name for it. It was just like this, like if you look back at the first set of promos, it's just very, very tattered, very torn, very plain. And it wasn't until we were on tour with I Set My Friends on Fire. And I remember one night we were in I want to say we were in like Ferguson or something, and I usually put like black or white paint under my eyes and then put the mask on. I remember that I think it was blue and red makeup under my eyes, and then I just kind of put it like around, or it was blue and white, and I put it like around my eyes and around the mask. And like I'm sitting there looking at myself in the mirror, and I started to just come up with like these feminine like mannerisms, and for some reason, I'm like, dude, I look like someone's aunt. Like, I feel like I'm like somebody's aunt, like somebody's Aunt Donna. And I remember the guys, we were all getting ready in the dressing room, and like they kind of looked at me, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like an aunt, like Aunt Donna. And it was just like, wow, that kind of works. And then from there, it was like the Aunt Donna in me just started to shine through, and I started to get more feminine, wearing dresses and scarves, and I changed my entire wardrobe, and everybody seemed to take to it. Like everybody was like, wow, like this is really fucked up looking. So that's how it was born. But I want to say Aunt Donna was always there. It just needed to really come out. And it took two mask cycles to actually develop her character. You know, it wasn't just something like, oh, I'm going to call myself Aunt Donna. It literally happened just out of nowhere. And now I'm just building. I'm just rolling with it because it just feels natural.
It's got to be cool concept, man, to evolve on each album.
I love it. And the funny thing was, is a lot of people are asking me, coming from the safe word cycle to this new cycle, they're like, oh, what's the name of your character going to be now? And I'm like, Aunt Donna is always going to be here. It's just different stages of who she is, and you know, and different cycles of her. So when Aunt Donna was born, that's, you know, that's who I am. It's just now you're going to see the different looks of her, you know, however she's feeling for that album cycle. Maybe the next album cycle she'll be more dark, and she'll be more, you know, bloody or beat up, or she might be even more pretty. You know, it just depends on what I'm feeling.
So it'll never be like Ghost, but he can change like characters for each album.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like, I feel like if I tried to make up a new character, it would be forced, because all my mannerisms and everything, and how I am when I'm wearing this, it would, I couldn't just develop. When I put it on, it just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just like you go to this other place. I like to say, like, when you put on this mask, it's like you're in your own tree fort. You're in your own little cave, you know. So you could be anything you want, and that's just what comes out. Is just like the my buddy Justin described this look as very psychoerotica, and I love it because it nails exactly what I'm going for. That sexual, feminine, you know, psychotic, dark, you know, devious kind of character.
Now, how long does it take when you take your mask off to snap back into you? I mean, do you stay in character for a little bit? Do you get trapped in it?
You know, getting into character is easy, because it's like I said, I could be as normal as cake, and then I put this on, and it's like I'm still talking to you in my normal voice. You know, I'm not trying to be this demon voice. Like that's what people also don't understand. Like, well, you sound the same. It's like, yeah, I don't need to change my voice. It's just who I am when I'm performing, or if I'm doing something, I might do it in a different, you know, when we do interviews when we're on tour and I put the mask on, I'll be sitting and sometimes I'll just urinate myself right in the chair, you know, and it's like, well, you know, that was Aunt Donna that did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I kind of do whatever the fuck I want. So when I take the mask off, it's kind of like, I like to envision it like Jim Carrey in the mask when he pulls it off and it's just like, and it's done. Right. That's pretty much how, that's how Aunt Donna kind of disappears. And, you know, obviously I'm still winded and sweaty and gross, but it's like that mindset comes off with this mask. Like I could never be the way I am without the mask on.
I hear
you know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing, you know. Like I look at myself in the mirror, I know I'm me. You know, it's not like I'm like, oh, you know, I become this creature. It's just the mindset of it from wearing a mask and being like, okay, well, I could do whatever the fuck I want. That's how I kind of play off of taking it off. It's just like, okay, I'm back to earth now. I'm back to normal. Like if I go out to the merch table and I'm not in costume and I'm just like signing stuff or taking pictures, like, you know, I'm not like doing my mannerisms, or I'm not doing what I would normally do as her, you know.
So, man, that new track, Tapeworm, that is amazing.
Dude, that track, well, rewinding just a little bit. So, like I said, I live out in Vegas, And when we were getting ready to record this, our producer, Zach Jones, that did Safe Word, and he did a bunch of singles with us. He did Magic Show, he did Crash and Burn, he did Thriller. He understands our sound. He understands what we're going for. He's like a sixth member of the band, that's not in the band. He just knows the direction that we need to be in. So it was a no brainer when we were like, okay, we're going to do a full length. So he was out in LA. Most of my our guitar player Dreamer, he's from Jersey. Grippo, bass player, is right here from New York. Our guitar player Sufran is from Miami, and our drummer Pac is from Virginia. So it was like, okay, well, we could fly out to LA, then we got to get an Airbnb and we got to do all this stuff, or you guys can come into my house. I have a pretty decent sized house. We converted one of our game rooms into a studio room, and then I drove from Vegas to LA, only like a 4 or 5 hour drive. I picked him up with all his studio stuff, brought him to my house, and for 3 weeks we wrote the album at my house. So right there, it was like the atmosphere of writing it was just it came together so well that we look back at all the other albums and EPs that we wrote, and I don't want to say that those weren't good, but that was good for that time and where we were. But everybody being at my house and just like super relaxed, no pressure. Like we started writing songs at 2 a.m. We just went into the room and just started, cranking out beats and ideas and riffs. So it really helped with the molding of this album. We had a lot of fun. We were all on the same page for the first time ever. Like there was no like, well, do we want to go super heavy or do we want to go, like octane radio friendly? Like how do we want to go? We said, fuck it. We're just gonna write songs. And within the first 2 hours of being at my house, we wrote the intro track off the album. And usually when we write, it's like, okay, we piece together like the guitar riffs and then some electronics and then the drums and then vocals. Usually we do like the last 2 weeks. We even tackled the recording of this where it was like we had the song, and then as we were writing the song, we were laying down my actual vocals. So we weren't doing it the traditional recording style. We were just like, oh shit, like I got a cool hook for this part. And he's like, well, get on the mic and just fucking do it. Like, don't wait. Let's not write it down. Like, you have it. Let's do it. Like, Dreamer, he does all the clean singing. And we had these sick melodies, and he's like, just fucking lay it down. Like we were so fucking pumped. Um, it was just so cool, and like we had all these like candles burning. I remember like 2 weeks before they came, I went to Bath and Body Works and bought all these fucking scented candles, probably like $300 worth. So the vibe in the room was just like it was dark. We had candles burning. Everybody was laughing. We were having a good time. And when we were done with this album, we were jamming it, and we're like, all right, what do we want to change? What do we want to alter? And I think we changed like 2 or 3 things. Other than that, we're like, this is fucking great. Like this is pure magic that just happened. And I don't even like to say, and I was saying it anytime I post on social media during the recording, I'm like, this isn't like a recording. This, like an album. This is like a fucking horror movie because each track is like a different scene from a horror movie. And you don't know when the fuck you're going to get killed or what's coming or what kind of monster. So that's how I envision it. And when I can talk a little bit more about the album and the titles and everything else, which we're going to hopefully be revealing before the end of the year, it really is like a horror movie. Not saying that we have like horror movie titles or anything, but it's just the way it's laid out. It's like a fucking horror movie, and I couldn't be more excited about this album than the shit that we've done in the past. The past is there, and we're moving forward. And you know what? Some people may not like it, may not agree with it, but we literally went into it and just said, let's just write music to write music, and that's what we did, and we came out of it so fucking happy.
Well, it paid off, man. That fucking first track you released is amazing.
Yeah, and the video for that, our director Tom Flynn, we recorded, we shot the video over the summer, and Tom and I work really good. Like we're both super creative people, and he loves working with us because a lot of stuff he knows. Like I'm the kind of guy that has the vision, And he just leaves it up to me. I'm like, yeah, I want to do fucking worms, and I want there to be fucking grungy and dirty and disgusting. And he's like, I'll leave all that up to you. So like the day of the shoot, like we came with the worms. I did all the makeup on our buddy Andrew's face. Like even the shots, the lighting. I was like, I really want the lighting to just be like super dark, like no colorful lights, no special effects lighting. It was literally the light. If you watch the video, you'll notice that there's like a spotlight, and that was literally Tom's assistant behind a black. He had a black sheet over his head behind the drummer, and he was just going like this with a really bright light. And we just shot it for like 7 8 hours. We were in the basement of a venue. It's like a dive bar kind of venue called the Meat Locker in Jersey. It's like New Jersey CBGB's almost.
Right.
But it's literally a meat locker in the basement of like an old restaurant. Disgusting, stale air, no windows, like fucking bugs everywhere. If you watch the opening of the video, there was a shot of a cockroach. That we were literally wrapping up, we were done. We called wrap, and there was a fucking cockroach that was walking on the floor, and it went under the stage. So that shot that you see is just he pulled his camera out and just zoomed in on this cockroach because it was like this fucking big. He's like, I gotta put that in your fucking video somewhere. So the place fit that video, because that video is very dirty and grimy and gross. Which, by the way, those were all fucking real worms. Our buddy Andrew is our touring photographer, and he's super in touch with nature and stuff. We were on tour. I forget where we were, somewhere in the South, and we stopped at a truck stop one night to sleep, and he slept in a sleeping bag behind the truck stop in like this grassy area. And in the morning when he woke up, he had little fucking snails all over his face, his arms. I guess from fucking sleeping in the grass, they just migrated to him. So when we were tossing on the concept of doing the worms, we're like, we know Andrew will do it. And he was like, fuck yeah. So we got the fucking worms from the bait store. I was like, I want the fattest fucking earthworms you guys got. So yeah, none of the worms were harmed. He actually took all the worms home and put them in his garden. But yeah, it was such a fun video to shoot, and it was just very visually pleasing. And it doesn't have any real storyline, but I like that about it. It fits the song. It fits the vibe of the video.
There have been some extra scenes, man. That dude definitely had a puke once or twice eating a couple worms.
We have a couple of clips on my girlfriend's phone. She was filming it on her phone, and he did it 3 times. The first time he put the worms in, and he could barely hold them, and he started gagging. And now I'm not good with that shit, so I'm off to the side, and I'm almost vomiting. Like, it's so fucking bad. So then like Tom, the director, was like, all right, gather yourself. He's like, let's get the shot. So he did it again, and he tilted his head back, and he had him in for like 10 seconds, and they started sliding down his throat, and he spit it out, and a little, it wasn't pure vomit, but it was like bile. It came out with it. So then he's like, all right, one more time, regroup yourself. He's like, this is going to be the money shot. So he took the fucking handful, and he popped them in his fucking mouth, and he opened it up, and he's frozen solid, and the worms are in his mouth, and they all fall out slowly. And then that one fucking worm, he just goes and sucks it in his mouth. And right after he did that, Tom called cut. He's like, I don't need any more fucking footage. He's like, that was disgusting. We got the fucking shot.
Right.
Yeah, so it was, and then we cleaned up, we wrapped it, and then we were all gonna go to eat afterwards. And literally, we went outside, and Andrew was sitting there, and he was the color fucking green. He was done. He was sick to his stomach. So, but I've seen him after that, and he's the fucking man for doing that, because I know I couldn't even bring those worms to my fucking lips. I would never be able to do that.
No, fuck no, man. That's just gross.
And then all that, there's shots of him going like this, and he's like pulling slime. What that was, I went to, there's a couple of stores, I don't know if you got them by you, called Five Below.
Oh, yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, Five Below. They have like children's slime there, like just clear slime. I bought a tub of slime. It was like $4, and I added some this shit called mouth effects. That it's pretty much like professional grade food coloring for your mouth. You could do they have all different colors. So I took some brown and I just dripped it in there, and I gave it this disgusting look. So before he did the worms, we saved the worms for last. I dumped a bucket of slime on his head, and I just had him just go like this and just pull like this, and he was just getting such good footage. And that wasn't even like, that was just something I picked up the night before in Five Below grabbing extra shit, and I saw the slime, and I'm like, I could probably use this. Like, I'm just gonna grab this fucking slime. And then on the shoot, I told Tom, like, yo, I got some slime. Can we get some weird shots? And he's like, fuck yeah, we can. Let's do it. And it ended up working out real well. So if you rewatch the video, he's going like this, and it's all this fucking slime. It was just $4 bucket of slime from Five Below with a little bit of fucking coloring in it.
You did a great job, dude. That fucking video was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun shooting. It was a lot of fun. We wanted to reveal the video. We wanted to reveal the masks. Obviously, we wanted to have a tour lined up and all this shit. And we couldn't wait any longer because the album's been done since like March. Like, it was mixed and mastered in March. And we've just been sitting on it, hoping that something would, give and we can tour or play some shows. And finally, when it started to look like there was no hope for the rest of this year, we're just like, fuck it, let's shoot a video. And we wanted to shoot the video for Tapeworm because that song is the heaviest, and it just comes out of the gate fucking swinging. Like, there's no clean singing, there's no mellow parts where it drops out. It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Now, I seen on your social media, you guys are trying to do some kind of like crowdfunding or whatnot to shoot the next video.
Yeah, we got a couple of things in the works. We're working with a really cool dude that's doing a comic. I'll probably post it up again on my social media. He's doing like a Kickstarter for it. I've seen some of the schematics for it and stuff. It looks fucking awesome. But yes, we're going to be doing another music. We're going to try to crank out 2 more music videos this year. We're going to try to release one more. And when we release one more single with the video, we're going to do the album title reveal and the track listing. And then hopefully going into 2021, we're going to do drop another video and then hopefully play some sort of show or something, to really put some steam behind this album,
Now, you mentioned the comic. That's Sacred Comics is the artist that's doing it, right?
Yes. He approached us, and Grippo, our bass player, was working a lot with him side by side with that, and they were going back and forth, and I saw the drawings, the illustration, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this is fucking cool. Like, and he's doing it based off of our new look, too, so it makes it look fucking insane. So I'm super excited about that.
What's the concept, man? Is it like you guys a band, or you guys like villains? What's the deal?
It's a little bit, I think, of both. I haven't seen the full concept yet, but from what I see, it looks fucking badass. All I know is that Aunt Donna in this has like long nails, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta do long like fucking fingernail. Like, it looks badass. All the other guys look fucking badass. He's a really badass fucking, he's putting this together just fucking awesome. So I don't want to say too much. I don't want to get too much away because, it's still in the works, and I know we want to do a big reveal for that too, but it's going to be fucking awesome. I can promise you that.
I seen in the Kickstarter, man, you got some pretty cool perks. You can actually be in the book with you guys, right?
Yes. He will. He'll draw you in and work you in there some way. We've gotten a lot of love from that. So yeah, again, it's going to be really fucking badass. And again, at first we were like, yeah, let's do a comic, and then we're like, let's get the fans involved and help us, get it off the ground. And it's working. That's all I can tell you is that it's definitely working.
Awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fucking cool.
They say with a great comic, man, to a show or a movie or something, it could be
right. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to fucking do some sort of horror movie, and that's like another thing, aside from the music world and stuff. We're really trying to hit the like the horror convention circuit too, and go there and sell exclusive merch and do signings. And we did a couple of years back, we did a convention in Massachusetts called Rock and Shock Festival when they used to have it, and we fucking we did so well there, and we were like, fuck, like why haven't we been doing this forever? We fucking met Bill Moseley. He took pictures with us. He was talking, about us with our masks, and we had like a decent line for signing, and we weren't even, like selling anything at the convention. We just got a table and sat, and people out of curiosity were coming up to us, and we're like, yeah, well, we're playing tonight at 9 o'clock. And so the horror circuit is such a big, like, it has so many people. It's such a big following that we fall into that category. I feel like metal and horror movies almost go hand in hand if you blend it together right.
Oh, for sure, man. And like, I go to the cons and shit all the time, man, for work and whatnot, but I go there to have a good time too. And you always see, Guar fucking shows up at him, Doyle, Elson, Marky Ramone. They're all
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so fucking cool. It's such a, yeah. I attend. I've been to like Monster Mania. I went to Mask Fest. Just attending as myself, and it's like, this is fucking great. Like, it's a whole nother world. And growing up, horror movies and horror, and for the past 13 years now, I've been in the haunted house industry. I started off as a scare actor. In the past couple of years, I've been pretty much designing and building one here in Long Island. So it's so cool to be able to bring my ideas to the haunted house, and then even pull some ideas from the haunt world to the band stuff. Whether it's lighting or different kinds of atmospherical effects, or even just the people that I've met through the haunt industry that make different kinds of, like the Dark Stitches girl. She made all my outfits. If I didn't attend the convention in St. Louis years back, I would have never had my Blinded Till We Burn outfit, my Safe Word outfit, and this outfit. So I just met her, just went to her booth, we started talking, and she's like, yeah, I'll make you whatever you want. And now I've been working with her hand in hand.
Oh yeah, man, you can definitely make some great connections at those things.
So I love
new fans for you and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Breaking into that world, and that's why this magazine called Rue Morgue picked up the release of Tapeworm. It did pretty good, with such short notice and limited funds and things like that. We wanted to get like on the Fangora level, and iHorror. We've done a premiere before, Bloody Disgusting. So we're really just trying to really hit that market hard in this coming 2021. We're gonna try to really take it fucking by the horns.
Rue Morgue does some pretty kick-ass festivals themselves, man. So
yeah, they're great. I mean, our publicists reached out to them, and they took it on, and they're really cool people, and it did pretty well. They hosted the video for the first 24 hours, and it was great. Couldn't ask for a better host.
Now, I seen on social media you were doing a push to do a collab with Ice Nine Kills.
Oh man, yeah. It's funny because I reached out to Spencer a couple months ago. We were just going back and forth talking about just masks and horror movies and stuff, and he started following me on Instagram, and we were going back and forth. And I mean, he's huge in the horror world. Like, I look up to him. I'm like, dude, like, some of the shit you guys have done, like playing that exclusive show at the Overlook Hotel. He just did something at Stu's house from Scream. That's the level that I want to be. So I just happened to throw up a post on my social media saying, hey, who'd want to see this happen? And it's gotten a lot of traction. So I'm hoping that he takes notice to it and he's interested in it, and we could do something together. We do have a track that we want him to do some vocals on from this album. We were trying to get different guests and stuff. We have one guest on it. Again, can't say who it is. So we wanted to get one more guest. So we do have a little chunk of song opened. But just even to collab with him in the future for horror shit, he's like,
right.
They're doing it right, man. They're doing it really, really fucking cool,
Yeah,
and they're doing it in like a non-Slipknot way, like they got their own thing going, which I love.
You did that track with Ari Lehman, man, the first Jason.
Yes, so cool. It's like they're so good. Their music is fucking awesome. Their fucking stage show blows my mind. I love everything about it. And I hope that he's got, because I mean, I know they're fucking busy, but if the stars could align and we could do something together, I'd be a happy girl.
How does that work out in the rock world, man? Like, are you able to do collabs with people like that? I mean, I know in rap you could just call up a rapper and fucking they'll be on your
Yeah, you know
seconds.
what? I wish it was that easy to be like, hey, dude, but unfortunately, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you got to go through,
Sure,
especially if you're on a label and this and that. There's different things to work out, but at the end of the day, obviously anything's possible. So I'm hoping that if it gains his attention and he actually looks into who we are some more, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, cool. Like, let me check out the track. That would be fucking phenomenal. So
yeah, man, I think you guys.
I put the post up yesterday. So, like I said, we talk whenever he checks his messages, he always gets back to me. And I don't blow up his inbox because I know he's fucking busy. So if it happens, great. If it doesn't, we tried, but there's no reason why it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, man, I think you guys would make a perfect fit. That'd be fucking a killer track for sure.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Now, what's next for you guys? I know you're saying you want to put out a couple songs and shit. Is there anything set in stone or?
There's definitely that's gonna be happening before the new year is another single, another music video for it, and probably the announcement of the title of the album and the track listing. That I could promise you is gonna happen before the new year. We've been talking about possibly doing like live streams and like exclusive live performance, but for us, it's gotta be something over the top. We just don't want to rent out a studio and get some of our live show production and put it on. We want to do it somewhere like Ice Nine did it, at like a cool location,
Right.
something that just entices people to watch more than just seeing us, but also for us to make it very different and unique. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Motionless in White just did their live stream and it was fucking amazing. Their production's through the fucking roof. But it's like, at the end of the day, it was just them in a sound stage. I want to be in a location. I want to be submerged in whether it's somewhere haunted or a movie set or something. So we've been just keeping our feelers out and our eyes open for something that could possibly come our way that's makes the whole stream that much more unique.
I heard you could rent out the place that did Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th, man. That'd be outdoors.
Yes, yeah, Camp Crystal Lake. I mean, I was looking up probably last week the barbecue joint from Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Right.
in Texas that you can go visit. I'm Google viewing like the street. I'm like, that would be cool to set up like a small production right in front and shoot it with lights and all this shit. So again, my wheels are constantly turning. But yeah, there's a couple of things that are on my radar, and as long as it makes sense and logistically could work, we're all for it.
It's got to be so fucking hard as a musician right now, not knowing exactly what you can do. So many different states have different rules and regulations and shit.
It's so fucking scary right now for every musician and entertainer. And I have friends that are magicians and escape room artists that touring light designers, touring merch people that are also out of work. Like, it's not just us artists, it's the people that make the shows happen, that make the production happen. So it's just scary that we don't know what's going to happen in March. When everything happened, they're like, oh, by the summer shows are going to be coming back. By the time July got here, it was like, oh, maybe by the fall, maybe by like September, October. Now October's here. Now they're saying maybe spring 2021. So it's like nobody knows for sure because everything's so unstable. And it's a scary feeling because it's like, what is touring going to be like when things go back to normal? What a show is going to be like?
Right. Yeah.
So, I always like to stay positive. I'm always thinking positive and on the bright side of things. So instead of just kind of putting the band over here and being like, okay, well, when things pick up, for us, it's like, what can we do next? How are we going to stay relevant? How are we going to keep putting out music, keep putting out production? keeping the fans wanting more, not letting things get stale. So I guess we'll see what the future holds.
Now, when you're looking ahead, man, I mean, you got to keep in mind there's probably going to be no arena shows. There's a lot of these smaller venues are going to probably end up closing because they couldn't make that nut over all this time being closed.
It's
So there's only
crazy.
going to be so much real estate available as a band. Like, everyone's going to want to play the few theaters and the fucking shit that's open. So it's going to be a clusterfuck trying to pick days and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, who knows? It may be something where like bands don't tour for months at a time. Maybe they do small increments of tours. Maybe 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time. It's so hard to put a finger on how it can be because nobody really knows. Like, is there going to be any more like green rooms and things like that everybody get to share? Because those places get fucking filthy. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had green rooms that I probably had coronavirus before it was a fucking thing. Like it's a lot, and it's very a sense of anxiety. I kind of get just trying to wrap my head around how it would be. Our venue's going to run at 50% capacity. Does that mean we only get 50% of our guarantee? Like it's so hard to really just wrap your head around it. So we take it one day at a time. We're constantly staying positive, and like I said, we're constantly just trying to be ahead of the curve with new material or new things to just keep everybody engaged.
Routing's going to be a fucking bitch too, man. Like, each state is different. I mean, you say you're in New York. I'm in New York too. What was it? Just this month they started letting you actually play without having to buy food, fucking, as part of the show. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. It's crazy, and I mean, every now and then I'll see somebody on my Instagram story that like is at like a smaller show, like a bar kind of thing, and even then it's kind of just like the camera turns towards the crowd and everybody's scattered and there's not many people, and it's like that's not what a show is about. A show is about coming together and being me even attending shows, like, yeah, it's disgusting, but when you're packed in with people and you're watching your favorite band up there on stage, like, that's part of the fucking experience.
Oh yeah.
Meeting people, mingling with people you never even fucking knew. I've met some people years ago at Warped Tour, and I still keep in contact with them, and I just met them just because it's like, oh, you're wearing a fucking Every Time I Die shirt. Well, that's fucking awesome. Well, let's be friends. Like, it just sucks. It really it sucks. But again, you just gotta hope that something positive is gonna come out of all of it.
My buddy Opus from Dead by Wednesday just did some shows last week with Ellison. That band all got together, and he said it was fucking crazy. He said it was good times and shit, but it's still different. As soon as he got back, they all had to take the COVID test, and they had to quarantine for a couple days and shit. It's got to be hard as a musician to see if all that's worth it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it worth going out to try? You look at it past any kind of money or any kind of financial. To go out to give the music to the people, and it's like, is that risk worth everything to come back home, possibly have it, possibly give it to your family? Just like it's so many factors. Driving. You got to look at it like maybe some states aren't even having shows, so maybe you drive 12 hours to another state to play a show, and then another 12 to another state. Get there, and the turnout is garbage. There's 10 people,
Right.
and then you don't get any pay. Then you start losing money. You possibly could get sick. So it's like you got to balance everything out. That's the way I look at it.
One thing I like to see is that you guys are pushing through this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, you got a shit hand dealt, and you're doing what you can to keep on going forward with all the different projects. And
We're trying, like, and I always laugh because I got to laugh and say, here we are, we're fresh out the fucking gate, 2020. We record this fucking awesome album. Then right when we were done with the album, like a month later, is when Corona fucking spiked. It spiked, like literally 1 month later. So here we are, the beginning of 2020. I got this fucking sick mask. I fly to Pittsburgh. Everything is fucking great. Fly to Pittsburgh, no problem, no coronavirus. Just small talks about it, but nothing. No lockdown, no nothing. I fly there. I get this fucking sick mask. I can't wait to reveal it. Then the band comes out to Vegas. We record this amazing album. So here we are. We have this ready to just fucking hit the world in the face with all of our new shit. And then it's like, sorry, we're closed. Put
Right.
everything on hold. And here we are sitting on this fucking awesome album, awesome new looks. Because when everybody was in town recording, we took a day off. And I found, again, I'm always thinking and I'm always looking. And between Las Vegas and California, on the strip of highway, there is an abandoned water park that went out of business years ago. You look it up. I forget what it was. You remember what it was called, T? The abandoned water park?
No.
If you look it up, you type in abandoned water park in the desert, and it pops right up. It's fucking famous. Years ago, when Rob Dyrdek, Robin Big, they had an episode. They were driving to celebrate somebody's birthday in Vegas, and they stopped and they started skateboarding through the fucking. That's when I first even knew there was something about it. So when I knew the guys were coming out, I was like, let me see how far I live from it. I only lived like an hour and 40 minutes from it. So the one day we took off from recording and we fucking drove out there and we did all of our fucking promos at the water park. Those promos aren't released yet. Those are the second set of promos. The first set that were released was just right up the road from my house. It was just fucking creepy tunnel. But so we had, getting back on track, but we had everything fucking perfect, ready to go, loaded gun. And then shit just fucking closed down.
I mean, it would have been a real kick in the dick if you would have dropped the album, you know what I mean? And fucking not been able to tour and all that. I mean, think how many bands have put shit out and forgot about already.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we've been trying to build up suspense towards the album, and towards the release of a track. And we were like, all right, let's do it at the beginning of the summer. And then it was just like, well, let's wait. Let's hype it up. Let's get people going. And we're going to kind of do that again. Obviously, we don't have much time left until 2021, but you'll see some more activity in the next couple weeks that we start hyping shit up for the next coming, because we want to put out a couple more things before we could even think about dropping the album. Like you said, you want it to fucking hit. You don't want it to come out and then die off. And same thing with the masks. Like, I want to fucking use this mask. I mean, Tom Savini fucking helped design it. Like, I just don't want it to be, on the internet. I want people to fucking see what this thing could do,
For sure, man. Definitely. Now, for those that are watching this and they want to follow up, they want to know more about the music coming out, they want to fucking be part of the comic book, they want to, help out and buy some merch and shit, where do they go? What do they do?
They can go to kissingcandice.com, and that's the main central nervous system for everything. We're on, streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes isn't a thing anymore, but YouTube, just type in Kissing Candice, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's all Kissing Candice. If you search it, will pop up. If you Google it, the movie Kissing Candice will show up. But you just scroll one or two down and we're right there. But yeah, Instagram, we're going to be posting some more shit about what we have in store for the coming months. That's where you'll usually see it. Between Instagram and Facebook, those are the two places that'll hit first.
Sweet, man. I'm really looking forward to the album actually dropping. I love what I heard so far, and I can't wait to see what's next coming from you guys.
Hell yeah, man. Fucking, this was great. I really enjoyed this. We got to definitely do it again, in the near future for sure.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, fucking the world open back up. We get to do it in person.
Right? That's what I'm fucking saying. Then we can get really fucking weird. That'll be fun.
All right, man. I appreciate your time, dude.
Awesome, man. Take care. Have a good one. Stay safe.
You too. Take care of yourself.
Later.